Hello everyone, or just before the expansion series continues, and I have been spamming you guys with videos. I hope you guys will like this. It was a lot of work. So next up we have greater affixes, right? And in the previous videos I'm sure you have paid attention to this beautiful star on top of some items I have, and the lack of. So what does it mean? So guys, in Diablo, the itemization is always based on affixes, right? Prefixes and suffixes, right? And the thing is, this beautiful star appears on items with a greater affix on it, and if there is a star on top of the item, right, that means it has at least one greater affix, right? But it doesn't denote how many it has, so you have to mouse over. This one has 2, this one has 1, this one has 1, this one has 2, right, and this one has 1. And let me find if I have something with more. I should be keeping some. So this one has 3, for example, right? And because legendaries have 3 random modifiers, legendaries can have 3 at most, but uniques have 4 modifiers, so they can have 4 at most. Mythic uniques and uniques can have 4, right? Because if you take a look at that Rage of Harrogath, we have the max life, we have the crit damage, we have the max life, we have the crit chance, we have the damage over time, and we have the bleeding, right? So that bleeding could also be a greater affix. So what does a greater affix do? So as you can see, guys, normally a random affix has a range, right? If you take a look at the 4th one there, it says 9.2 per 2. 9.2 to 14.4% damage reduction from bleeding enemies, right? What we have is 10.9%. But if you observe the greater affixes, there is just no range. Why? Because a greater affix rolls the roll perfectly, and on top of that increase it by 50%. So for example, guys, let's take a look at this. As you can see, on this glove, the crit chance, the maximum life, they all vary, but the intelligence doesn't vary. Why? Because as I said, it has rolled the maximum amount, right? And then it has increased by 50%. So for example, guys, the crit chance on an amulet is normally 6 to 8%, right? And because this one is a greater affix, it automatically rolls 8% and then gets amplified by 50%, goes up to 12%, right? Or for example, the strength on one of boots is, I believe, let's just find some boots with strength. Oops, bootos. They are all greater affixes. We will definitely sure find some greater, non-greater affix ones. Yeah, as you can see, guys, so this one is also masterwork. That's another problem. Okay, so as you can see, guys, the base stat, the core stat, it rolls actually between the 76 and 90, right? So that's absolutely random. When the item drops for you, the strength is randomly determined, right? From anywhere from 79 to 76 to 90, right? But if you have a greater affix, it automatically rolls 90 and then increased by 50%. That adds up to 135, as you can see. Same thing with the life. The life is 880 or something cap, and it gets increased by 50% and it goes 1310. And of course, these are very desirable. So there is a feature called enchanting, which we will get to later on. It allows you to reroll something that you don't like, but I am talking about this earlier than I should be, but I would like to remind you, if you roll away from a greater affix, you will never be able to find another. So guys, you wanna roll this strength into movement speed, right? And then you decide you have enough movement speed somewhere else, and if you go back to strength, it will be 76 to 90 at random, right? The greater affix will not come back, and So you will not be able to roll back into a great graphics, and you will not be able to roll into a great graphics. So the great graphics stuff is only when dropped, right? The item drops with its great graphics, and if it's good, then it's very valuable, and if it's not good, you can just roll away, of course. So for example, guys, an ideal stuff for sorcerer, at least a lightning speed sorcerer, would be intelligence, maximum life, and crit damage, all great graphics, right? That kind of stuff is a bit valuable. This one is semi-valuable. As you can see, I have intelligence and life, both great graphics, but no great graphics on the crit damage. But let me tell you, triple great graphics stuff is pretty rare. And as I said, on Unix you could read 4 great graphics. So guys, for example, this Asus, right, could have, let's just take a look at this Asus. So guys, if this Asus has all 4 great graphics, it would have 27% movement speed. Why? Because the range is 12.5% to 18%, right? It would automatically go 18%, and then will improve that by 50% to 27%. The movement speed after edit would, after killing it would be 18 point something percent. The crit damage would be 112%. The resistance would be 15% if they were all great graphics, right? And I think I have one here. As you can see, the crit damage goes to 112.5%. Why? Because that is 75% improved by 50%, right? Because half of 75% is 37.5%. You add it, it adds up to 112.5%. For masterworking, it works a little different, but we will discuss it when the time comes, when the time for masterworking and tampering comes. But that's what great graphics are. If I want to summarize, they only drop that way. You can never find a great graphics otherwise. And if you decide to reroll it, it goes away permanently, right? There is no going back to the great graphics. So of course, that makes, you can't buy yourself into everything, right? You could, of course, but for example, great graphics, mythic Unix can't be bought because they are bound immediately. So if you want one, right, you have to get it yourself. And I have been trying, and I do not have a very prolific Diablo 4 carrier yet, but I have obtained, let's say, 30 to 40 of these mythic Unix, and the only one I got with a great graphics was absolutely useless one. It was a Shaco with armor, and you get armor cap very easily with Shaco, so it is a pure waste. So I have not been able to get one. So these do not drop very frequently. Probably like 10% or maybe a little rarer. And of course, multiple great graphics are just very rare. That's about it for the great graphics for now. As I said, we will get back to it when we discuss masterworking. And that, I think, concludes the second category I had in mind. We got done with the character, and now we are also done with itemization. Next up, I believe we will get into crafting. It will have only a few videos, and finally we will have the general concepts that will have a lot of videos, as you can imagine, and that will mark the end of our just before the expansion hits series, so to speak. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.